Midday sun. Zuma village market. The coins hit the dirt at Amara's feet. Bronze, dull, deliberate. Pick them up, Orphan. Kunto stood over her, voice loud enough for 50 vendors to hear. Scraps on the ground. That's your worth, the crowd laughed. Not polite chuckles, full-throated mockery. Amara knelt, 22 years old, selling vegetables from a stall no one walked past. Her hands collected each coin slowly. Steady. Kunto's daughter leaned close, silk gown shimmering. No parents, no name. Who would ever want you? An old merchant cackled. Even beggars have mothers to bury them. You've got nothing, Amara said nothing. Have you ever been invisible? Judged for a past you didn't choose? This is one of those African stories, a real-life story of resilience. A touching story reminding us that life stories hide transformations no one sees coming. What they didn't know would break every assumption. 3 months earlier, Amara had owned nothing but her aunt's mud hut and a half-acre plot on the village edge. Aunt Nala died during the dry season. Fever took her in 4 days. No children, no husband. Just Amara kneeling beside the mat, holding a hand that grew cold. The funeral was small. 6 neighbors. A priest who rushed through prayers. 2 weeks later, the landlord came. Baba Kofi, 60 years old, gold rings on every finger. The hut reverts to me, he said. Nala's lease ended with her death. Amara looked up from her vegetable seedlings. She paid through the year, paid for her residence. Not yours, he smiled, not unkindly. Just factual. You're not family by law. No marriage certificate, no adoption papers. You're a ward who aged out. I've lived here since I was 7. And now you're 22, old enough to manage alone. He gestured at the hut. I'll give you 60 days. Find income, pay rent, or leave. 60 days became the clock she lived by. Zuma village market operated under old customs. Stall placement determined income. Prime locations, center aisles near the well, went to families with verified lineage. Merchant licenses passed parent to child, certified by the village clerk. Orphans got shadow row, back corner. No foot traffic. Dust and heat and stillness. Amara's stall was 4th from the end. She sold tomatoes, peppers, okra, whatever her plot produced. On good days, she made 30 cowrie shells. On bad days, 8. Rent cost 200 shells per month. The math didn't work. She knew it. Everyone knew it. Kunto ruled the market like a queen ruled a court. 45 years old. Chief merchant's wife. 3 sons, 2 daughters, all married well. She wore gold bangles that clinked when she walked, and her head wrap stood tall, starched, elaborate, a full foot high. Her stall occupied prime center. Textiles, jewelry, imported oils. She extended credit to farmers at 20% interest monthly. Legal, technically. Exploitative, obviously, but she donated to the temple. Hosted festival meals, smiled at children. Chief Okan called her a pillar of the community. Amara called her nothing, stayed silent. Sold vegetables. The incident happened on a Thursday market day. Crowds thick. Zara, Kunto's youngest daughter, was celebrating her engagement. 19 years old, marrying the son of a neighboring chief. Big alliance, bigger dowry. Kunto had arranged a midday ceremony in the market square. Musicians, dancers, platters of jollof rice and fried plantains. Zara wore a yellow gown. Hand-embroidered silk, imported from Accra. The fabric shimmered like sunlight on water. Amara had just bought flour from a merchant 2 stalls down. 5 shells, heavy bag. She turned, adjusting the weight on her shoulder, and walked directly into Zara. The flour bag swung, clipped Zara's hem. A puff of white dust settled on the yellow silk, maybe 2 inches wide, faint, barely visible. Zara screamed, not a yelp. A full theatrical scream, the drums stopped. Dancers froze. Every head turned. She ruined it. Zara clutched the gown like it was bleeding. Look what she did. Kunto arrived in seconds, surveyed the scene. Her eyes landed on Amara, then the flour bag, then the microscopic smudge. You. Her voice could have cut stone. Do you know what this gown cost? Amara set the bag down carefully. I'm sorry. I'll pay for cleaning. Cleaning. Kunto laughed, sharp, bitter. This is silk from Accra, blessed by a priest. Worn once for 1 day, and now it's cursed by orphan hands. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Amara kept her voice level. It's flour. It washes out, Zara wailed louder. She did it on purpose. She's jealous. Jealous that I have a family and she has nothing. Chief Okon pushed through the crowd. 58 years old, broad-shouldered, wearing the white robes of office. What happened here? Kunto pointed at Amara. This girl assaulted my daughter on her engagement day. Destroyed her ceremonial gown. I want compensation. Amara's stomach dropped. It was an accident. Accident? Kunto's voice rose. You bumped into her deliberately. I saw it. 3 merchants nearby nodded. All of them owed Kunto money. Chief Okon frowned. Amara, is this true? I didn't see her. I turned too fast. I'm sorry. Kunto stepped closer. Sorry doesn't restore what's ruined. I want 200 cowrie shells today. Amara's breath caught. 200 shells, her entire month's rent. I don't have that. Then you'll work it off. My household needs a cleaner. You'll serve 6 months, no pay, and we'll call it even. The crowd watched, silent, waiting. Amara felt the weight of every eye. She could say yes, become Kunto's servant, lose the hut anyway because she couldn't pay rent, or say no and face... What? I won't lie, Amara said quietly. It was an accident. I'll clean the gown myself, but I won't pay for something I didn't break. Kunto's face hardened. She reached out, fast, brutal, and yanked Amara's head wrap off. It fell to the dirt. Gasps erupted. A woman's head covering was sacred. Removing it in public was profound humiliation. Amara stood there, hair exposed, face burning. Kunto dropped the head wrap into the dust. That's what orphans are worth, dirt. She turned to the crowd. Let everyone see. This girl brought bad luck to my daughter's engagement. A curse from jealous hands. Zara sobbed into her mother's shoulder. Chief Okon looked at Amara. Something flickered in his eyes. Pity, maybe. But he said nothing. Kunto raised her voice. I'm a generous woman. I'll forgive the debt if she leaves this market. Shadow Row doesn't need cursed hands. The musicians started again. Dancers resumed. The ceremony continued. Amara picked up her head wrap, tied it back on, walked to her stall, packed her vegetables into a crate. No one helped. She carried the crate home alone. That night, she sat in Aunt Nala's hut, soon to be someone else's hut, and held the one thing her mother left behind, a blue shawl, threadbare, faded indigo, woven with a pattern Amara didn't understand. Her mother's voice, a memory 14 years old. Your father gave me this. He said it would keep us safe. Amara wrapped it around her shoulders. Outside, the village slept. Inside, she made a decision. She would not leave. Not yet. The rumors started before sunrise. By the time Amara reached the market the next morning, 3 vendors had already moved their stalls away from hers. No explanation. Just empty spaces on either side like she carried plague. A mother pulled her child back when Amara walked past. Don't touch her. Bad luck. Amara set up her vegetables. Tomatoes, peppers, a handful of okra. No one stopped. By noon, she'd sold nothing. Week 1, her income dropped to 15 shells. Week 2, 8. Week 3, 0. The vegetable plot behind Aunt Nala's hut kept her alive. She ate what she couldn't sell. Okra stew without meat. Pepper soup stretched across 3 days. She grew thinner. Her dresses hung loose. Her hands cracked from hauling water alone. No one would help her at the well anymore. Baba Kofi came on day 28. I need an answer, he said. Can you pay rent? Amara had 43 shells saved. I need more time. Time doesn't grow money. He wasn't cruel. Just practical. You have 30 days. After that, the hut goes to the next family. 30 days. The clock ticked louder. On day 35, Amara found her seedlings poisoned. She'd planted a new crop, tomatoes, okra, beans. They'd sprouted green and hopeful. She watered them every evening, whispered prayers her aunt used to say. That morning they were black, wilted, roots rotting. Someone had poured something toxic into the soil. Kerosene, maybe. Or lie, Amara knelt in the dirt, touched a blackened stem. It crumbled. 3 months of work gone. She didn't cry. Tears wouldn't replant seeds. She just sat there staring at dead earth until the sun set. Tundi found her, 10 years old, orphaned at 6 when fever took both parents. He lived with an uncle who beat him when drunk and ignored him when sober. Tunda survived by running errands, carrying water, fetching firewood, cleaning stalls for a few shells. He'd watched Amara from the beginning. Watched her sell vegetables no one bought, Watched her eat less and less. One evening he brought her half a loaf of bread. I bought it myself, he said, defiant, like she might refuse. You didn't eat today? Amara looked at the bread, then at him. Skinny, dirt-streaked, eyes too old for 10. Thank you, she said quietly. They ate together, split the bread evenly. After that, Tunda came every few days, sometimes with food, sometimes just to sit. He didn't talk much. Neither did she, but they weren't alone. The tribunal came on day 42. Chief Okon sent a messenger. You're summoned to answer charges. 3 days from now. Amara's stomach knotted. What charges? Witchcraft. Cursing Zara's engagement. She almost laughed. Almost. That's not real, the messenger shrugged. Tribunal's real. Be there or be exiled by default. The tribunal convened in the village square. 7 elders sat on a raised platform. Chief Okon presided, flanked by 2 clerks recording everything on paper. 50 villagers gathered to watch. Kunto stood front and center. Draped in her finest wrapper, gold bangles gleaming, Amara stood alone. Chief Okon read the charges. Amara, daughter of Nia, is accused of practicing witchcraft, specifically cursing Zara's engagement through deliberate malice and occult gestures. Amara kept her face still. I've done nothing. Kunto stepped forward. I have witnesses. 3 merchants approached. All men, all middle-aged, all wearing new clothes Kunto had clearly purchased. The first, I saw her muttering at night near her hut. Strange words. The second, she made hand signs towards Zara's house, crossing fingers, waving oddly. The third, my chickens died after she walked past my compound. 3 hens, 1 rooster, all dead by morning. Lies. Obvious paid-for lies. Chief Okon looked at Amara. Do you deny these accusations? Yes. Can you prove your innocence? Amara's mouth went dry. Prove innocence? How do you prove you didn't cast a spell? I have no proof, she said slowly. Accept my word. Your word against 3 witnesses. Chief Okon leaned back. Do you have anyone to speak for you? Silence, no one moved. Then, small, thin, a child's voice from the back, Tunde spoke. I'll speak. Heads turned. Tunde stepped forward, shaking but defiant. Amara didn't curse anyone. She works every day. She shares food even when she's hungry. She's never hurt anybody, Chief Okon frowned. You're a child. I'm a witness. Kunto laughed, short, dismissive. An orphan defending an orphan. How touching. One of the elders waved a hand. The boy's testimony is inadmissible. He's a minor and a ward without standing. Tunde's face crumpled. Amara wanted to reach for him, but the space between them felt like miles. Chief Okon addressed the tribunal. We'll deliberate for 2 days. Amara, you're free until the verdict. Do not leave the village. The crowd dispersed. Amara walked back to the hut. Tunde beside her, I tried, he whispered. I know. That night, a woman knocked on her door. Amara opened it cautiously. The woman was 60, maybe older. Thin, wiry, with silver hair wrapped in a faded purple cloth. She carried a walking stick and a canvas bag over one shoulder. I'm Mama Ya, she said, traveling dye maker. I heard you need work. Amara blinked. Yes, good. I need someone to grind indigo. My hands are too old. I'll pay 10 shells a day plus meals, 10 shells a day. That was more than Amara had made in 2 weeks. Why me? Amara asked. Everyone says I'm cursed. Mama Ya snorted. I've been cursed 3 times, hexed twice, and blessed by a drunk priest. I'm still here. She gestured toward the hut. You going to invite me in, or do I grind indigo in the dark? Amara stepped aside. Mama Ya set up her dye station in Amara's yard. Clay pots, fabric, indigo powder in leather pouches. She showed Amara how to grind the leaves. Slow, circular, consistent pressure. How to mix the powder with water and ash to activate the color. They worked in silence for hours. At sunset, Mama Ya cooked stew. Goat meat, tomatoes, peppers. She filled 2 bowls, handed one to Amara. Eat. Amara stared. Real meat. She couldn't remember the last time they ate. Mama Ya watched her with sharp, knowing eyes. You're not a witch, she said finally. Amara swallowed. No, but you're stubborn. That's why they hate you. I didn't do anything. You refused to bow. Mama Ya tapped her spoon against the bowl. That's enough for people like Kunto. She offered you servitude and you said no. Now she has to destroy you to prove she's stronger. Amara looked down. What should I have done? Exactly what you did. Mama Ya's voice was firm. Dignity isn't negotiable. You keep your head up when they want you bowed. That's how you survive. I might not survive this, you might not. Mama Ya poured water into 2 cups. But you'll survive it standing. That matters. The next evening, Kunto sent another offer through a messenger. Mistress Kunto says she's merciful. If you apologize publicly and work for her for 1 year, unpaid, she'll withdraw the witchcraft charges. Amara read the message twice. Your unpaid public apology for something. She didn't do. She looked at Mama Ya, who was stirring dye in the corner. Mama Ya didn't look up. What does your gut say? Amara folded the message. It says no. Then that's your answer. Amara handed the message back to the messenger. Tell her no. The messenger's eyes widened. You're sure? Yes. He left. Mama Ya finally looked up, a small smile on her face. Good. That night Amara couldn't sleep. She sat outside the hut, wrapped in her mother's blue shawl. The fabric was thin, almost transparent in places. The indigo pattern was faded but still visible. Geometric, intricate. Unlike anything she'd seen in the market. Mama Ya came outside, holding 2 cups of tea. Can't sleep either, she said, handing one to Amara. They sat in silence. Then Mama Ya spoke. That shawl. Where'd you get it? My mother. She died when I was 8. She make it herself. I don't know. She never said. Mama Ya reached out slowly. May I? Amara handed it over. Mama Ya held it up to the moonlight. Her fingers traced the pattern, the weave, the faded dye. Her hands started to shake. What is it? Amara asked. Mama Ya's voice was barely a whisper. This pattern. I've only seen it twice in my life. What does it mean? Mama Ya looked at her. Really looked like she was seeing Amara for the first time. It means, she said slowly, we need to talk about your father. Mama Ya didn't speak for a long time. She held the blue shawl, fingers tracing the geometric pattern like reading braille. The indigo had faded over 23 years, but the weave remained perfect, tight, intricate, deliberate. Finally, she folded it carefully and handed it back. Your mother's name was Nia? Yes. And your father? Amara hesitated. She never told me. Just said he was a good man who traveled far. She said he died before I was born. Mama Ya's jaw tightened. She lied. To protect you. Protect me from what? Mama Ya stood, paced the small yard. Moonlight carved shadows across her face. I need to take you somewhere, she said. A 3-day journey. To the capital, Kora. Amara blinked. I can't leave. The tribunal's a farce. They'll exile you regardless. Mama Ya's voice was sharp, urgent. But if I'm right about this shawl, if I'm right about you, then we have bigger problems than Kunto's grudge. What are you talking about? Mama Ya sat back down, looked Amara in the eye. 23 years ago I worked in the royal palace. Dye master for the Queen Mother's household. I created fabric for the royal family. Specific patterns, colors, weaves that only they could wear. She pointed at the shawl in Amara's lap. That pattern? It's called Adinkran Kinkim, the journey symbol. I designed it for Prince Kwame's wedding gift. Only 3 shawls like that exist. The Queen Mother has one. Prince Kwame's widow would have had the second. Amara's heart thudded. Prince Kwame? King Ose's younger brother. Died 23 years ago in a drought. He'd married in secret, against the royal family's wishes. Married a village girl named Nia. The world tilted. Amara's voice came out hoarse. That's not possible. Look at the shawl. Amara did. The pattern, the indigo, the meticulous weave, Mama Ya continued. When the drought hit, Prince Kwame and Nia fled the palace. They went to a remote village. He wanted to live as a commoner, start over, but the drought killed crops, poisoned wells. Kwame died trying to dig a new well, collapsed from heat exhaustion. And Nia? The Queen Mother declared her dead too. Erased her from royal records. Anyone connected to Kwame's rebellion was removed from history. Mama Ya leaned closer. But if Nia survived, if she had a child... Amara's hands shook. You're saying I'm Prince Kwame's daughter, King Osi's niece. Royal blood. Silence. Amara couldn't breathe. Couldn't think. No, she shook her head. That's impossible. My mother was a vegetable seller. We lived in a hut. We had nothing, because the Queen Mother made sure you had nothing. If she knew you existed, she'd have... Mama Ya stopped. We need to go to Kora. There's one person who can confirm this. Who? Baba Mensa, royal cloth keeper. He maintains the palace registry. If your mother was married to Kwame, there'll be a record, even if it's hidden. Amara stared at the shawl. Her mother's last gift. Her father's wedding gift to her mother, a prince. Why didn't she tell me? Mama Ya's expression softened. She probably thought silence would keep you safe. Royalty has enemies. She chose poverty over danger. Amara felt tears sting. She blinked them back. I can't prove any of this. Not yet. Mama Ya stood. Pack light. We leave at dawn. The tribunal verdict came the next morning. A messenger arrived before sunrise. Knocked on the door. Chief Okon's decision. Insufficient evidence of witchcraft, but the tribunal recommends you leave Zuma village for the sake of community peace. You have 7 days. Amara took the letter. Read it twice. Exile, not by conviction, by recommendation, politically clean. Morally cowardly, she folded the letter, handed it back. Tell Chief Okon I'll leave after Zara's wedding. The messenger frowned. That's in 6 days. Then I have time. They traveled light. Amara, Mama Ya and Tunde, who refused to stay behind. You need someone to carry water, he said stubbornly. Amara tried to argue. Mama Ya just laughed. Let him come. Loyalty's rare. They walked 3 days. Through forests, across savannas, past villages that looked identical to Zuma. Same markets, same hierarchies, same invisible orphans. On the 3rd day, they reached Kora. The capital was overwhelming. Stone buildings, paved roads, markets 3 times the size of Zuma's, carriages pulled by horses, soldiers in red uniforms, and at the city's heart, the palace. White stone walls, towers with flags, gates guarded by men with spears. Mama Ya led them through side streets to a modest compound near the palace's east wall. She knocked. A man answered, 65 bald wearing simple robes. Mama Ya. His voice was warm. It's been years. Too many. She gestured at Amara. Baba Mensa, this is Amara. We need to talk. Inside, Baba Mensa's home was filled with fabric. Bolts of cloth stacked floor to ceiling. A loom in the corner. Sketches pinned to walls, patterns, dyes, measurements. He made tea. Listened while Mama Ya explained the shawl, the pattern. Nia, Prince Kwame. When she finished, Baba Mensa sat in silence for a full minute. Then he stood, walked to a locked chest in the corner, pulled out a key. The Queen Mother ordered all records of Kwame's marriage destroyed, he said quietly. But I kept copies. Clothkeepers document everything. Fabrics, ceremonies, royal gifts. It's our duty. He opened the chest, pulled out a leather-bound ledger, flipped pages, stopped. Here. He turned the ledger toward Amara. Royal Registry, Year of the Drought. Prince Kwame Ose, second son of King Boki Ose, married Nia Ajoa, daughter of Kofi Ajoa, deceased, on the 12th day of the dry season. Ceremony conducted in private by Elder Yor. Witnesses, Mama Ya, dye master, Baba Mensa, clothkeeper, wedding gift, 3 Adinkra and Kinkim shawls, indigo dyed hand-woven by Mama Ya note, marriage opposed by Queen Mother Akosua, couple fled palace grounds 14 days post-ceremony. Amara's vision blurred. Her mother, married to a prince, witnessed, documented, real. Baba Mensa's voice was gentle. Your mother was Nia Ajoa. Yes. Then you're Prince Kwame's daughter. He closed the ledger. The Queen Mother believes you died with your mother. King Ose doesn't know you exist. Amara looked at Mama Ya. Why are you telling me this? Because 3 weeks ago King Ose issued a decree. Baba Mensa pulled another document from the chest. He's 50 years old. Never married, no heirs. He's declared he'll search for any surviving family members before naming a successor. He handed her the decree. Amara read it. Official seal. King's signature. He's scheduled to visit regional villages, Baba Mensa continued, reviewing family petitions, settling disputes. He'll be in Zuma village in 5 days. Mama Ya leaned forward. For Zara's wedding. Chief Okon invited him to boost the village's prestige. Amara's heart raced. 5 days the king, her uncle, would be in Zuma. What do I do? Mama Ya's eyes were fierce. You attend that wedding. You bring the shawl. And you let truth unfold. What if he doesn't believe me? Baba Mensa tapped the ledger. I'll come with you. This is proof. But the Queen Mother is 84 years old and frail, Baba Mensa said quietly. Her power has waned. King Ose loved his brother. If he knows Kwame's daughter survived, he'll protect you. Amara felt the weight of the shawl in her bag. 23 years of silence. 23 years of poverty, humiliation, invisibility. I don't want revenge, she said slowly. Mama Ya smiled. This isn't revenge. It's truth. And truth protects others. If Kunto can do this to you, she'll do it to the next orphan. Amara thought of Tunde, of every child in Shadow Row. Every person told they were worthless because of where they came from. Okay, she whispered, okay? Mama Ya pressed. Yes, louder. Yes, they stayed in Kora 2 more days. Baba Mensa taught Amara palace protocol. How to address the king. How to present the shawl. What to say. Mama Ya coached her on tone. Calm, dignified. You're not begging. You're revealing. Tunde mostly watched wide-eyed, eating pastries Baba Mensa kept bringing. On the second evening, Amara asked the question that had been gnawing at her. If I'm royal, what happens to me? Baba Mensa looked at Mama Ya. They exchanged a glance. That depends on the king, Baba Mensa said. He could recognize you formally, give you a title, land, and allowance, or he could pay you to stay silent. Royal families prefer clean narratives. Amara's stomach twisted. I don't want money. What do you want? Mama Ya asked, Amara thought. I want Kunto to answer for what she did. I want the law changed. Orphans shouldn't be trapped in Shadow Row. I want Tunde to have a chance. Mama Ya smiled. Then that's what you ask for. They left Kora at dawn, 3 days back to Zuma. Amara walked in silence, the shawl wrapped around her shoulders. She wasn't an orphan anymore. She was a prince's daughter. But she'd been an orphan for 22 years. That didn't vanish with a ledger entry. On the last night before reaching Zuma, they camped under stars. Tunde fell asleep quickly. Mama Ya and Amara sat by the fire. Are you scared? Mama Ya asked. Yes. Good. Means you're thinking clearly. Amara poked the fire with a stick. What if they laugh at me? What if the king thinks I'm lying? Then you walk away. You've survived worse than laughter. Amara nodded, but her hands still trembled. Mama Ya reached over, squeezed her shoulder. You're not alone anymore. Remember that. They arrived in Zuma the morning of the wedding. The village square was transformed. Silk canopies, drummers warming up, tables laden with food, and in the center, royal banners. King Osei had arrived. Amara stood at the village edge, looking at the square. Her pulse hammered. In 6 hours everything would change, one way or another. The wedding began at noon. Drums, dancers in yellow and gold, incense curling through the square. Zara stood on the ceremonial platform, draped in a new gown, cream silk this time, embroidered with gold thread. Her groom beside her, tall, nervous, sweating through his robes. Chief Okon presided, flanked by elders, and above them all, seated on a carved wooden throne brought specifically for this event, King Osei. Amara stood at the back of the crowd. She'd washed her one good dress, braided her hair, wrapped her mother's blue shawl over her shoulders. The indigo fabric faded, but unmistakable against the sea of yellow and gold. Tunde stood beside her. Gripping her hand, Mama Ya and Baba Mensa had positioned themselves closer to the platform, near the elders, close enough to intervene if needed. Kunto hadn't noticed Amara yet. She was too busy preening, gold bangles stacked to her elbows, head wrap towering, directing servants like a general commanding troops. The crowd was thick. 200 people, maybe more. Every merchant, every farmer, every child in Zuma, and King Osei, 50 years old, broad-shouldered, face weathered but strong. He wore white robes embroidered with Adinkra symbols. A gold crown sat on his head, simple, elegant, heavy with history. Amara's heart hammered. That was her uncle. Chief Okon raised his hands. The drums stopped. We gather to witness the union of Zara, daughter of Kunto, and Kwasi, son of Chief Mensa from the village of Oda. Applause. Humiliation from the women, Chief Okon continued. We are honored by the presence of His Majesty King Osei, who blesses this union with his attendants. King Osei inclined his head, gracious, distant. Chief Okon droned through formalities. The groom's family presented gifts, cloth, livestock, cowrie shells. Zara's family accepted. Blessings exchanged. Prayers offered. Amara watched, waited. Her hands gripped the shawl. 20 minutes in, King Osei shifted in his seat. His eyes swept the crowd, assessing, observing the way rulers do. They landed on Amara, paused. His gaze dropped to the blue shawl. froze Amara, saw the recognition flicker across his face. Confusion, then shock. He leaned toward the man beside him, an advisor, elderly, grey-bearded, whispered something. The advisor followed the king's gaze. His eyes widened. He whispered back urgently. King Osei's jaw tightened. Baba Mensa saw it too. He stepped closer to the platform, caught the advisor's eye, nodded once, a signal. The advisor whispered again to the king. King Osei stood. The crowd gasped. Chief Okon stumbled mid-sentence. Your Majesty, standing mid-ceremony was unthinkable. A breach of protocol so severe it stopped time. The drums didn't resume. The dancers froze. Every eye turned. King Osei descended the platform steps, slowly, deliberately. He walked toward the back of the crowd, toward Amara. Kunto's face drained. She grabbed Zara's arm. What's happening? No one answered. The crowd parted. King Osei stopped 3 feet from Amara. The entire square held its breath. His voice was low, tight with emotion. Where did you get that shawl? Amara's mouth was dry. She forced words out. It was my mother's. She said my father gave it to her as a wedding gift. Silence. King Osei's hands shook. What was your mother's name? Nia Ajoa. A sound escaped the king, half gasp, half sob. He reached out, touched the shawl's edge. His fingers traced the Adinkra pattern. This was my brother's, his voice cracked. Prince Kwame's. Murmurs exploded through the crowd. Chief Okon stepped forward. Your Majesty, I don't understand. Silence. King Osei didn't look away from Amara. What was your father's name? My mother never told me. She said he died before I was born. She lied to protect you. The king's eyes filled. Your father was my brother. Prince Kwame Osei. Gasps, shouts, chaos rippling through the square. Kunto's face went white. An elderly woman pushed through the crowd from the platform, 84 years old, frail but fierce. White hair, sharp eyes, leaning on a carved walking stick. Queen Mother Akosua. She reached the king's side, looked at Amara. Her face crumbled. It can't be, she whispered. They died. Both of them. The drought. Nia survived, Baba Mensa called out, stepping forward. He held up the leather ledger. I have the marriage record. Prince Kwame married Nia Ajoa 23 years ago. This is their daughter. The Queen Mother stared at the ledger, then at Amara. Tears streamed down her weathered cheeks. I told my son his brother's family was dead. Her voice broke. I wanted them erased. I was proud, cruel. I thought if no one remembered, the shame would die. She sank to her knees. The crowd gasped louder. Royalty didn't kneel. Not for anyone. Can you forgive an old woman's pride? Queen Mother Akosua's voice was raw. Amara stood frozen, her grandmother, on her knees. She looked at Mama Ya, at Tunde, at King Osei's tear-streaked face. Finally, she knelt too. Met her grandmother's eyes at the same level. I forgive you, she said quietly, but I won't forget. Forgiveness isn't permission to harm again. She helped the Queen Mother stand. King Osei turned to the crowd. His voice carried command and fury. This woman is Amara Osei, my niece. Princess of the royal house, Prince Kwame's daughter. Silence. Shock. Then slowly, people began to kneel, all except Kunto. She stood rigid, gold bangles trembling on her arms. King Osei's eyes found her. Who is responsible for this girl's treatment in your village? Chief Okon's voice shook. Your Majesty, we didn't know. A small voice cut through. Tunde, she's responsible. He pointed at Kunto. She threw coins at Amara, called her worthless, stripped her head wrap in public, accused her of witchcraft. King Osei's expression went cold. Is this true? Kunto opened her mouth, closed it. No words came. Zara, still on the platform, burst into tears. King Osei stepped toward Kunto. You knew she was alone. You knew she had no family to defend her. That should have been enough to show mercy. He gestured to 2 guards. Escort this woman aside. She'll answer formally after the ceremony. Kunto's legs buckled. Guards caught her arms, led her away. The crowd watched in stunned silence. King Osei turned back to Amara. I don't expect you to forget what was done, or forgive easily. His voice softened. But I'd like to know you, if you'll allow it. Amara looked at him. Her uncle, her father's brother. I'd like that, she whispered. King Ose smiled, small, fragile, real. He held out his arm. Amara hesitated, then took it. They walked together toward the platform. The crowd parted. Whispers, awe, shame. Tunde ran after them, grabbed Amara's free hand. She squeezed it. Family isn't just blood, she said softly. It's who stays when the world walks away. On the platform, Chief Okon stammered, Should we continue the ceremony? King Ose looked at Zara, tear-streaked, humiliated, her wedding shattered. Continue, he said, not unkindly, but quickly. The ceremony resumed, awkward, hollow. No one watched the bride and groom. Every eye was on Amara, the orphan, the princess. After the vows, King Ose addressed the assembly. I'll remain in Zuma for 3 days. During that time, I'll review the treatment of orphans in this village. Any merchant found exploiting those without family will answer to the crown. His gaze swept the crowd, lingered on Chief Okon. Leadership requires justice, not politics. Chief Okon's face went ashen. King Ose continued, The market law prohibiting orphans from prime store locations is abolished. Effective immediately. All children have equal right to trade. Applause, hesitant at first, then louder. King Ose raised a hand. Kunto will write a public apology. Read before this assembly tomorrow. Her merchant license is suspended for 1 year. She'll volunteer at the Royal Orphan Relief House in Kora. There, she'll learn the worth of those she deemed worthless. Kunto, standing between guards, wept not remorse, shame, social ruin. As the crowd dispersed, Amara stood with King Ose, Mama Ya, Baba Mensa, and Tunde. What happens now? Amara asked. King Ose looked at her. That's your choice. You can come to the palace, claim your title, or live quietly. I'll support either path. I don't know yet, that's fair. He smiled. But I'd like you to visit. Meet your family. See where your father grew up. Amara nodded slowly. The blue shawl hung over her shoulders, her mother's gift. Her father's love, her proof. She was no longer invisible. The next morning, Kunto read her apology in the village square. No crowd this time. Just 50 witnesses, 2 guards, and Chief Okon recording the statement. Kunto's voice shook. Kunto, wife of Chief Merchant Ibo, confessed to wrongful treatment of Amara Ose. I publicly humiliated her, spread false accusations. I abused my position to harm someone vulnerable. She paused, swallowed. I was wrong. I apologize. The words were hollow, mechanical, but they were on record. King Ose, standing beside Amara, nodded to the clerk. Document that. Send copies to every regional market. Kunto stepped down, face streaked with tears. Not remorse, humiliation, but it would do. That afternoon, King Ose convened a formal hearing in Chief Okon's compound. Amara sat beside him, Mama Ya, Baba Mensa, and Tunde present as witnesses. Chief Okon stood before them, sweat beading his forehead. You presided over a tribunal, King Ose said calmly. You judged without seeking truth. You recommended exile for a girl whose only crime was refusing to bow. Chief Okon opened his mouth. King Ose raised a hand. I'm not finished. Silence. You prioritized politics over justice. You protected merchants over the vulnerable. That's not leadership. Chief Okon's shoulders sagged. You're removed as village chief. Elections will be held in 30 days. You may run, but you'll do so as a citizen, not an incumbent. Chief Okon nodded slowly. Defeated. King Ose turned to the assembled elders. The tribunal's recommendation is overturned. Amara Ose is not exiled. She's free to stay or leave as she chooses. He gestured at the clerk. Document the following reforms. 1. Market law amendment. All stall placements will be merit-based. Orphans, widows, and those without family lineage have equal access to prime locations. 2. Tribunal standards. Future accusations of witchcraft or curses require material evidence. Witness testimony alone is insufficient. 3. Orphan Protection Fund. 10% of market taxes will fund housing, education and apprenticeships for children without family. The clerk wrote furiously. Amara listened, heart pounding. Her name, her existence, was rewriting laws. After the hearing, King Ose walked with Amara through the village, just the two of them. No guards, no ceremony. They passed her old stall in Shadow Row. Empty now, dust-covered. You lived here? King Ose asked quietly. For 15 years. He looked at the cramped space, the dirt floor, The lack of shade, my brother would have hated this. He never knew. I know King Osi's voice was thick. But I do, and I'll make sure no other child suffers this way. They walked in silence. Then King Ose spoke again. I have a request. What? Come to the palace. Not permanently, just visit, a month. Let me show you where Kwame grew up. Let me know you. Amara hesitated. I'm not sure I belong there. You belong anywhere you choose. King Ose stopped, looked at her. But you're my family. The only piece of my brother I have left. I don't want to lose you again. Amara thought of her mother, alone, running, dying in a remote village to keep her daughter safe from royal politics. 1 month, she said finally. But I need to bring someone. Tunde? Yes, King Ose smiled. Of course. On the 3rd day before leaving Zuma, Amara visited her aunt's grave. She knelt beside the stone marker, traced Nala's name carved in rough letters. I found them, she whispered. My father's family. You were right, I'm not alone. The wind stirred the trees. Amara placed a handful of flowers on the grave. Wildflowers. The kind Nala used to grow in the yard. Thank you, she said. For everything. She stood, wrapped her mother's blue shawl tighter around her shoulders, turned to see Tunde waiting at the path's edge. Ready? He asked. Yes, they left Zuma in a royal carriage. Amara, Tunde, Mamaya and Baba Mensa. King Ose rode ahead on horseback, flanked by guards. The village gathered to watch them leave. Some faces showed shame, others awe. Their few children mostly waved. Amara waved back. As the carriage rolled past the market, she saw her old stall. A new vendor had already claimed it. A young woman, maybe 19, setting up tomatoes and peppers. An orphan, probably, but not in Shadow Row anymore. Center aisle, visible. Amara smiled. Inside the carriage, Tunde fidgeted with excitement. Is the palace really made of white stone? Baba Mensa chuckled. White stone and gold. You'll see. Mamaya looked at Amara. How do you feel? Amara considered. Tired, scared, hopeful. Good. Mamaya squeezed her hand. That means you're alive. Amara leaned back against the cushion. Through the window, Zuma village disappeared behind trees. She'd spent 22 years invisible. Now, she was seen, not because of a crown, not because of a title, but because she refused to let cruelty define her worth. 3 months later, the palace felt less foreign now. Amara had her own quarters, modest by royal standards, but overwhelming by hers. A bed with silk sheets, a desk by the window. Walls lined with books Baba Mensa kept bringing. She spent mornings learning governance with King Ose, trade routes, taxation, diplomatic protocols. Afternoons, she worked with Mama Yart in the orphan relief house, teaching girls to dye fabric, listening to their stories, making sure they were seen. Tunde thrived. Palace tutors marveled at how fast he learned to read. He devoured every book, asked 1,000 questions, made friends with the cook's son. At night, Amara wrote letters to village leaders, to magistrates, asking about orphan children, identifying those who needed support. Slowly, quietly, she built something bigger than herself. Queen Mother Akosua visited once a week. She never asked for forgiveness again. Just sat with Amara, brought tea, told stories about Prince Kwame, how he laughed, what he loved, the way he used to sneak into the kitchens as a child. Amara listened. Didn't soften completely, but the edges of her anger dulled. One evening, the Queen Mother placed a small wooden box in Amara's hands. Your father carved this. For your mother. I found it in storage. Amara opened it. Inside a ring, simple gold band, engraved with Adinkra symbols. She slipped it on. It fit. Thank you, she whispered. Queen Mother Akosua nodded, said nothing, but her eyes glistened. King Ose asked Amara to be his heir. She said no, I'm not ready, she told him. Maybe never. He didn't argue, just smiled. Then advise me. That's enough. So she did. When disputes came to the throne, land disagreements, merchant conflicts, Amara listened, asked questions, suggested solutions. She was good at it, not because of royal blood, because she knew what it meant to be powerless. Back in Zuma, changes took root. Chief Okan lost the election. A younger woman won, a widow who'd run a successful weaving business. The new market layout was finalized. No more Shadow Row. Stalls assigned by lottery and merit. 3 orphans now ran profitable stalls in the center aisle. Kunto finished her year at the orphan relief house. She returned to Zuma quieter, humbler. She didn't regain her merchant license. Zara's marriage proceeded awkwardly. She moved to her husband's village, rarely visited. Amara returned to Zuma once just to see. She walked through the market. No one stared. A few nodded. One vendor, a woman who used to shun her, offered free mangoes. Amara declined politely. Bought them instead. Paid full price. She visited her aunt's grave, placed fresh flowers, then stood at the spot where her old stall used to be. A boy, maybe 12, sold okra and peppers there now. Good crop, Amara said. He grinned. Best okra in Zuma. She bought a handful, overpaid. As she walked away, she heard him whisper to a friend, "That's Princess Amara. She changed everything." Amara smiled. Not Princess, just Amara, who refused to stay invisible. So what would you do? If you saw someone judged, dismissed, erased, would you speak up or wait for a king to notice? Tell us in the comments. Have you witnessed injustice that was later overturned? Have you been underestimated and proved them wrong? Your real-life stories matter. These African stories remind us that touching stories of resilience aren't fiction. They're life stories happening every day, everywhere. If this moved you, share it. Subscribe for more folk tales that heal and inspire. Because dignity isn't granted by crowns or titles. It's claimed by how we rise. Next time, a farmer's son accused of theft. A missing necklace. A snake that witnessed everything. When truth has no voice, nature speaks. Don't miss the serpent's testimony.